Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn important questions from the paper 2. From the total paper 2, out of the 7 chapters, 3 chapters already we discussed in the previous video. Now the remaining 4 chapters we are going to discuss in this video, starting from trigonometry onwards. Trigonometry, applications of trigonometry, probability and statistics. These 4 chapters, important questions we are going to discuss in this video. Okay. From trigonometry, the first type of question they will ask is, he will give one triangle and he will give all the measurements of sides. Then he will ask you to find the different trigonometric ratios. So let's have a look at this question. ABC triangle where B is right angle and near the C angle theta is there. He gave the sides 3, 4 and 5. Then he is asking to find the sine theta value. Sine is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse. Particularly we are discussing about the theta. So for theta the opposite is 3 divided by hypotenuse is 5. So the answer is 3 by 5. Next, what is tan theta? Tan is nothing but opposite by adjacent. So here we are speaking about theta. For theta opposite is 3 divided by adjacent. For theta adjacent is 4. So tan theta value is 3 by 4. Next, in that only the second type is any two measurements only they will give. Here AB is given as 3 and AC is given as 5. Then first we need to find out the third side. So let us use the Pythagoras theorem. Hypotenuse square, that is AC square, is equals to first side AB square plus second side square BC square. AC is 5, so 5 square is equals to AB is 3 square plus BC square. 5 square 25 is equals to 9 plus BC square. So BC square is equals to 25 minus 9, 16. BC square is 16. So BC is 4 units. So this BC is given as 4 units. Then he is asking to find the cos theta value. Cos is nothing but adjacent by hypotenuse. So for this theta adjacent is 4 divided by hypotenuse is 5. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, the next type of question is, he will give all the 3 values, otherwise any 2 values, and he will ask you to find a big question like this. So now first let us find out the AC value. Again same, apply the Pythagoras theorem. Hypotenuse square is equals to first side square plus second side square. AC we don't know, so as it is AC square. AB value is 3, so 3 square plus BC is 4 square. AC square is equals to 3 square is 9 plus 4 square 16. AC square is equals to 9 plus 16 25. AC square is 25, then AC value will be 5 units. So here the AC nothing but the hypotenuse is 5. Now we need to find out the sin C into cos A plus cos C into sin C. Okay, first let us find what is the value of sin C. Sin C value. So for the angle C we are discussing, sin is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse. So for this angle C, opposite is 3 and hypotenuse is 5. So 3 by 5. Next, cos A. Cos is nothing but adjacent by hypotenuse. Here we are discussing with A. So for A, adjacent is 3, hypotenuse is 5. So 3 by 5. Next, cos C. Cos is nothing but adjacent by hypotenuse. So we are discussing for angle C. For angle C, the adjacent is 4 and hypotenuse is 5. So cos C 4 by 5. Next, sin C, which is equals to, sin is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse, and we are discussing about this angle C. So for angle C, opposite is 3 and hypotenuse is 5. So we will get 3 by 5. So we need to find out sin c into cos a. Sin c is 3 by 5 into cos a 3 by 5 plus cos c 4 by 5 into sin c 3 by 5. 3 into 3 9 by 5 into 5 25 plus 4 into 3 12 by 5 into 5 25. Both the denominators are same, so write it once and add the numerators. 9 plus 12 21. So the value is 21 by 25. Now till now here this is one type of questions where the figure will be given. In the figure sometimes all the three measurements will be given, otherwise sometimes only two measurements will be given. Okay, now let's move to the next type of questions. This next type of question is, they will give one trigonometric ratio and they will ask you to find the another trigonometric ratio. So let's have a look at the first question. If sin theta is equals to 3 by 5, then what is the value of tan theta? So first let's draw the right angle triangle. Here this one I am taking as theta. You can take this also theta, no problem, but you should not take this as theta because this is always 90 degrees only. So sin theta is equals to 3 by 5. Sin is nothing but opposite by hypotenuse. So for this theta, opposite is this one, so 3, and hypotenuse is 5. So we need to find out this third side. So I am writing this triangle as ABC. Now let us apply the Pythagoras theorem for this. AC square is equals to AB square plus BC square. AC 5 square is equals to AB square 3 square plus BC square. We don't know as it is. 5 square 25 is equals to 3 square 9 plus BC square. If we take 9 that side, BC square is equals to 25 minus 9. So BC square is equals to 16. Then BC is equals to 4 units. So this BC value we got as 4 units. Then he is asking to find the value of tan theta. Tan is nothing but opposite by adjacent. So for this theta, opposite is 3 divided by adjacent is 4. So tan theta value is 3 by 4. Next, one more type of question. If 5 into sin theta, 5 times sin theta is equals to 3. Now we want only trigonometric ratio to the left side and all the remaining numbers to the right side. So we want only sin theta. So take remaining number, that is 5, to the right side. So sin theta is equals to 3 by 5. So now sin theta is 3 by 5 is there. Let us find out the tan theta value. Now from here onwards, same like this question again. Sin theta is 3 by 5. Then what is the value of tan theta as it is question. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Okay, now let us come to the concept of trigonometric values. If sin of a minus b is equals to 1 by 3 and cos of a plus b is equals to 1 by 2, then what is the value of a comma b? Here it should not be 1 by 3, so I am making it a number change, so it should be 1 by 2. If sin of a minus b is equals to 1 by 2 and cos of a plus b is equals to 1 by 2, then what is the value of a and b? So first is given as sin of a minus b is equals to 1 by 2. Which value of sin is 1 by 2? That is 30 degrees. So a minus b value is 30 degrees. This is equation 1. Next, cos of a plus b is equals to 1 by 2. So which trigonometric value of cos is 1 by 2? That is 60 degrees. So a plus b is equals to 60 degrees. This is second equation. Now let us solve these two equations. Those are a minus b is equals to 30 and a plus b is equals to 60. Minus b plus b will get cancelled. A plus a, 2a is equals to 30 plus 60, 90. So we will get a is equals to 45 degrees. Now this a value let us substitute in the first equation or else in the second equation. So in this case I am substituting in the first equation now. A minus b is equals to 30. A value is 45. 45 minus b is equals to 30 and minus b I am taking to the left side and 30 I am bringing this side. So we will get b value as 15 degrees. So A is 45 degrees and B is 15 degrees. Next, let us move to next question, that is next concept. This kind of questions he will ask every time. Is it correct to say sine of a plus b is equals to sine a plus sine b? Is it right to say cos of a plus b is equals to cos a plus cos b? Justify. So first let us solve this LHS and RHS separately. First I will solve the LHS. The LHS is given as sine A plus sine B. Now A value I am taking as 30 degrees and B value I am taking it as 60 degrees. Now let us substitute in this. Sine A in the place of a 30 degrees. Sine 30 plus sine in the place of b 60 degrees. Sine 30 1 by 2 plus sine 60 root 3 by 2. Here both the denominators are same, so let us add the numerators, that is 1 plus root 3. Root 3 is an irrational number, so further simplification is not possible, that's why I am keeping like that only. Next I will take the RHS now. So RHS is sine of A plus B. So again same angles I am taking here also. A is 30 degrees and B is 60 degrees. So sine of in the place of A 30 degrees plus in the place of B 60 degrees. So we will get sine 30 plus 60 90. Sine 90 is 1. If we compare these two answers, 1 plus root 3 by 2 is not equals to 1. So it means sine A plus sine B is not equal to sine of A plus B. Sine of A plus B is not equals to sine A plus sine B. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, the next type of question is finding the values of the given trigonometric values. What is the value of sine 30 plus cos square 45 divided by 1 minus tan square 30 plus secant square 60? Sine 30 1 by 2 plus cos square 45. Cos square 45 is nothing but cos 45 whole square. So cos 45 1 by root 2 whole square whole divided by 1 minus tan square 30 is nothing but tan 30 whole square. So tan 30 is 1 by root 3 whole square plus here secant square 60 is nothing but secant 60 whole square. So secant 60 is 2. So 2 square which is equals to, if I solve the numerator, 1 by 2 as it is plus 1 by root 2 whole square. 1 by root 2 whole square is nothing but this square is for applicable for numerator as well as for denominator. So we will get 1 square by root 2 square. 1 square is 1. Here square root and square cancel, so remains with 2. So 1 by root 2 whole square is nothing but 1 by 2 whole divided by 1 minus the same way 1 by root 3 whole square is nothing but 1 by 3 plus 2 square is 4, which is equals to 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 1 divided by 1 plus 4 5 minus 1 by 3. Numerator I am writing as it is 1 divided by 3 5s are 15. 15 minus 1 14 by 3. Now this 3 will go upside, so we will get the value as 3 by 14. Okay, now let's move to the next type of concept, that is complementary angles. The question is given as, if cos 7a is equals to sine of a minus 6, then what is the a value? First, to compare these angles, trigonometric ratio should be same, but here left side cos and right side sine, so both are different, we cannot compare now. So our first duty is, we need to make either any one, we need to change and we need to make both these equal to each other. So now already right side a minus 6 little bigger term is there, so that's why I am not touching the right side, and let me solve the left side. So cos 7a can be written as sine of 90 minus 7a. Now I changed the left side, so right side I won't touch, I am writing that as it is sine of a minus 6. So sine of 90 minus theta. Sine of 90 minus theta is nothing but cos theta. So sine of 90 minus 7a is nothing but cos 7a. Now both the trigonometric ratios are same. Now we can compare the angles. Those are 90 minus 7a, which is equals to a minus 6. Now I will take this minus 7a to the right side and I will bring minus 6 to the left side. 90 minus 6 will become plus 6 is equals to a as it is. Minus 7a will become plus 7a. A plus 7a, 8a is equals to 90 plus 6, 96. Then a is equals to 96 by 8. If we do cancellation, we will get the answer 12. So a value is 12. Okay, now let's have a look at one more question from the same concept, that is complementary angles. What is the value of tan 36 divided by cot 54? First thing you need to check is the sum of the two angles, 36 plus 54. 36 plus 54 gives to 90 degrees. Now this kind of concept is going to be applicable only if the sum of two angles is 90 degrees. So let us check how to solve now. Either you need to change the upper one or lower one, either numerator or denominator, only one you need to change. Now I am interested to change the upper one. So write tan, in the place of 36 you write it as 90 minus lower number 54. 90 minus 54 is nothing but 36 only anyway, whole divided by cot 54. Tan of 90 minus theta, cot theta. So tan of 90 minus 54 is nothing but cot 54 divided by cot 54. Cot 54 by cot 54 value is 1. So out of 2, any one only you need to change. Okay, now let's move to the next question. This is one of the very important questions. If a comma b comma c are angles of a triangle, then show that sine of b plus c by 2 is equals to cos a by 2. Now he clearly mentioned that a, b, c are angles of a triangle. So sum of all the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So it means a plus b plus c is equals to 180 degrees. In the what we need to prove, B and C is there one side and alphabet A is another side. So the same way I am taking this A to the another side. So we will get B plus C is equals to 180 minus A. Next we have 2. So both the sides I will divide by 2. B plus C whole divided by 2 is equals to 180 minus A whole divided by 2. Now left side I am writing as it is, b plus c by 2 is equals to, right side I am separating it now. 180 minus a whole divided by 2 can be written as 180 by 2 minus a by 2. Left side I will write as it is, that is b plus c by 2 is equals to 180 by 2, 90 minus a by 2. Now left side sine is there, so whatever will be there to the left side, that only we need to apply. Now left side sine is there, so both the sides I am applying sine. So we will get sine b plus c by 2 is equals to sine of 90 minus a by 2. Left side I am writing as it is, that is sine of b plus c by 2 is equals to sine of 90 minus theta is cos theta. So sine of 90 minus a by 2 cos a by 2. Hence proved. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Show that or prove that tan 48 into tan 16 into tan 42 into tan 74 is equals to 1. So like the previous question only, first we need to check which two angles sum is 90 degrees. 48 plus 42 is 90 degrees. So these two I will write side by side. Tan 48 into tan 42. Here 16 plus 74 is 90 degrees, and the second one and fourth one I will write side by side. That is tan 16 into tan 74. Now out of these two, any one we need to change. So I am changing the first one now. Tan I will write as it is. In the place of 48, 90 minus second number 42. 90 minus 42 is nothing but again 48 only, into first one I changed, so second one I will write as it is, that is tan 42, into here also same, first one or second one, any one only we need to change. So first one I am changing tan, here 16 can be written as 90 minus this is second number 74, into first one I changed here, so second one I will write as it is tan 74. Tan of 90 minus theta, that is cot theta. So tan of 90 minus 42 is cot 42, into tan 42 as it is, into tan of 90 minus theta cot theta. So tan of 90 minus 74 cot 74, into tan 74. Here cot 42 can be written as 1 by tan 42 into tan 42, into cot 74 can be written as 1 by tan 74 into tan 74. Here tan 74 cancel, tan 42 cancel, so we remains with answer 1, hence proved. Okay, then let's move to the next question. Okay, this is also one of the very important questions for 1 mark. Show that tan square theta plus tan power 4 theta is equals to secant power 4 theta minus secant square theta. So the first thing we need to know about this question is identity. We have one identity related to secant and tan, that is secant square theta minus tan square theta is equals to 1. So now we are going to use this identity in this solution. So first the LHS, if we observe clearly, it is given as tan square theta plus tan power 4 theta. So from these two terms I will take out tan square theta common. So we remains with 1 plus tan square theta. Now this tan square theta as it is, into here from this identity, that is secant square theta minus tan square theta is equals to 1. I am taking minus tan square theta to the right side, so it will become plus tan square theta. So secant square theta is equals to 1 plus tan square theta. So here 1 plus tan square theta is nothing but secant square theta. Now this first tan square theta I will try to change. So what we will get then? Now I will bring this plus 1 to this side, so it will become minus 1. So secant square theta minus 1 is equals to tan square theta. So tan square theta value is secant square theta minus 1. So in the place of tan square theta I will write secant square theta minus 1. Secant square theta minus 1 into secant square theta. outer number into first number, outer number into second number. Secant square theta into secant square theta, secant power 4 theta minus secant square theta into 1 secant square theta. So hence proved. Okay, let's move to the next question. This is also one of the very important questions. Prove that under root 1 plus cos theta divided by 1 minus cos theta is equals to cosecant theta plus cot theta. So wherever in the total trigonometry chapter you have this square root symbol, so the same concept, that is rationalizing the denominator. So here under root 1 plus cos theta divided by 1 minus cos theta is given. So the denominator is 1 minus cos theta. So you multiply and divide by 1 plus cos theta. Simply just change the symbol. Here 1 minus cos theta is there. So you write 1 plus cos theta by 1 plus cos theta. In case if you have 1 plus cos theta here, you write 1 minus cos theta by 1 minus cos theta. Okay, next. If you observe the numerator, 1 plus cos theta into 1 plus cos theta, 1 plus cos theta whole square divided by 1 minus cos theta into 1 plus cos theta, 1 square minus cos square theta, under root, here 1 plus cos theta whole square I am writing as it is. Here 1 square is nothing but 1. So 1 minus cos square theta sin square theta. In the numerator as well as in the denominator square is there. So that's why I am taking that square as common. So we will get 1 plus cos theta by sin theta whole square under root as it is. Now the square root and square will get cancelled. So we remains with 1 plus cos theta divided by sin theta. Now if we separate this, we will get 1 by sin theta plus cos theta by sin theta. 1 by sin theta cosecant theta plus cos theta by sin theta cot theta. Okay, by this trigonometry important questions completed. Now let's move to the applications of trigonometry. In these applications of trigonometry, the first type of question is only one person will be there, otherwise only one object will be there. It may be from angle of elevation or depression. Okay, now let's have a look at this question. A boy observed the top of an electric pole at an angle of elevation of 60 degrees. One pole is there. Always the pole will be making 90 degrees only with the horizontal line. One pole is there. Somewhere from here, one boy is observing the top of an electric pole. So this top he is observing from here. So I am joining these two also, horizontal line every time. At an angle of elevation of 60 degrees, angle of elevation means he is observing from bottom to top. So this angle of elevation is given as 60 degrees. When the observation point is 8 meters away from the foot of the pole. This is pole, so this will become the foot of the pole, and the boy is observing from here, so this will become the observation point. So the observation point is 8 meters away from the foot of the pole. So it means the distance between the boy, otherwise distance between the observation point and the pole is 8 meters. Then find the height of the pole. This height of the pole he is asking. So now if we observe the figure clearly, here we have angle. For the angle, this will become opposite and this will become adjacent. So which trigonometric ratio says about opposite and adjacent? That may be tan or cot. tan opposite by adjacent. So for this angle, this is opposite, this is adjacent, so that's why I'm applying tan. Otherwise you can apply cot also, it's your wish. Now I'm applying tan for this angle, so tan 60 is equals to opposite. For 60 degrees, opposite is height of the pole, that is h, divided by adjacent. Adjacent is 8. Tan 60 root 3 is equals to h by 8. We want height, so take 8 to this side. So height of the pole is equals to 8 times root 3 meters. In the question, in case if they give the value of root 3, substitute that value of root 3 and solve, simplify further. If they are not given anything about root 3, just leave it till here, it's enough. Okay, now this is angle of elevation. Now come to the one question on depression. Rajendra observes a person standing on the ground from a helicopter. So at some point of height, here somewhere helicopter is flying. So from that helicopter, he is observing one person who is on the ground. So this person is standing here, so compulsory here one horizontal line will be forming. So now he said clearly that person who is in the helicopter, he is observing the person who is on the ground at an angle of depression 45 degrees. A depression will form always here. Where the person is observing from, make one horizontal line there. So that angle is 45 degrees. If here the angle is 45 degrees, so here also that will be 45 degrees only. Next, if the helicopter flies at a height of 500 meters, this height of the aeroplane is given as 500 meters from the ground, then what is the distance of the person from Rajendra? This Rajendra is in the flight and this person is here, so this distance he is asking, so some L I am taking. Now if we observe the figure clearly, this is angle, this will become opposite, and this is hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse. We have two trigonometric ratios related to that. One is sine and one is cosecant. So in this case I am taking sine. So for this angle 45 degrees I am applying sine. So sine 45 is equals to opposite 500 divided by hypotenuse L. Sin 45 1 by root 2 is equals to 500 by L. If we do cross multiply, L into 1, L is equals to 500 into root 2, 500 root 2. All the measurements are in meters, so this is also meters. So it means the distance of the person from this person who is observing from the helicopter or Rajendra is 500 times root 2 meters. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Okay, the next important question is length of the shadow question. Okay, let's have a look at the question. Length of the shadow of a 15 meter height pole. One pole is there, that pole height is 15 meters. Next, length of the shadow of a 15 meter height pole is 5 root 3. Always the shadow will be forming on the ground. So this pole shadow will be forming here somewhere. This shadow length is also given as 5 times root 3. So we need to find then what is the angle of elevation of the sun rays with the ground. So it means this angle we need to find out. Now angle is there, opposite is there, adjacent is there. So which trigonometric ratio? Again obviously tan. So for this theta I am applying tan. tan theta is equals to opposite is 15 divided by adjacent is 5 root 3. Here 5 ones are 5 threes are. So tan theta is equals to 3 by root 3. Tan theta is equals to this 3 can be written as root 3 into root 3 whole divided by root 3. So here root 3 will get cancelled. So we remains with tan theta is equals to root 3. Which angle of tan is root 3? That is 60 degrees. So theta is 60 degrees. So till now we completed one type of questions from the applications of trigonometry, that is only single figures. Now let us move to the next type of question. A statue stands on the top of a 2-meter tall pedestal. Always whenever we observe a statue on the roads or else some in front of some buildings, that statue won't lie exactly on the ground level itself. First some cement pedestal will be there or cement structure will be there. Upon that cement structure they will construct that statue or they will stand the statue there. So that is called as, that cement structure is called as pedestal. So some pedestal is there. For our confirmation just I am keeping a small line there. Upon that pedestal statue is there again. We have one pedestal, upon the pedestal one statue is there. Okay, next. A statue stands on the top of a 2-meter tall pedestal. Pedestal height also given. This pedestal height is given as 2 meters. From a point on the ground. So this is horizontal, nothing but ground. Somewhere from here. From a point on the ground, the angle of elevation of the top of the statue. This is the top of the statue. So from this point he is observing the top of the statue is 60 degrees. This is 60 degrees. Next. From the same point, again from here only same point, the angle of elevation of the top of the pedestal. Now in the previous case he observed till the top of the statue. Now he is observing only to the top of the pedestal from the same point, and this angle is given as 45 degrees. This is 45 degrees. Then we need to find out the height of the statue. This is statue. So this height we need to find out. That height I am taking as some constant h. Next, here base value is also not there. So this base value I am taking it as some constant x. Okay, now here total we have two triangles. One is smaller triangle and one is bigger triangle. Of course here also we have one triangle, but this is more than 90 degrees, so we won't bother about that more than 90 degrees triangle at all. So out of the total triangle, one is smaller one and one is the bigger one. So first always we need to take the smaller one only. So the same I am also doing. I am taking the smaller one now. So if we observe the smaller triangle perfectly, this smaller triangle is containing only 45 degrees. So we have angle opposite to this angle and adjacent to this angle. So tan we need to take. I will apply tan 45. Tan 45 is equals to opposite is 2 divided by adjacent is x. Tan 45 1, which is equals to 2 by x. I will take x that side. So x into 1, x is equals to 2. It means this base is 2 meters. Now I will take the total triangle. So for this total triangle, the angle is 60 degrees. Angle is there, for that adjacent is there, sorry, opposite is there and adjacent is there. So opposite by adjacent, again tan only. So I am applying tan 60 is equals to. Now if you observe this clearly, this 60 degrees angle means total triangle. So total triangle means from here to here, starting from here to here, it means h plus 2. This total height is nothing but height of the statue plus height of the pedestal, that is h plus 2 divided by base is x. Tan 60 root 3 is equals to h plus 2 divided by x value is 2. Now take 2 this side, we will get 2 root 3 is equals to h plus 2. Take 2 also this side, plus 2 will become minus 2. So 2 root 3 minus 2 is equals to h. Height of the statue is 2 root 3 minus 2. Okay, let's move to the next question now. Okay, the next type of question is having two objects, one building, one tower, otherwise two towers, otherwise two buildings. So now let's look at the question. The angle of elevation of the top of a building from the foot of the tower. So we have two constructions here, one is building and one is tower. So one is building and one is tower. For just confirmation, I am writing here tower and here building, so that we won't confuse again in the next steps also. Now I am drawing the horizontal line where both the bases will be touched with each other. Next, what is saying then? Angle of elevation of the top of the building. This is the top of the building. From the foot of the tower. From the foot of the tower to the top of the building, that angle is given as 30 degrees. And the angle of elevation of the top of the tower, this is tower top, angle of elevation of top of tower from the foot of the building, from building foot to the top of the tower, that is given as 60 degrees. If the tower is 30 meters height, this tower height is also given as 30 meters. Then find the height of the building. This building height we need to find out. Now here also, if you observe clearly, we have two triangles. One triangle is this one. I'll write the names so that we won't get any confusion again. A, B, C, D I am writing. So now if you observe this, ABC is one triangle, and next this, that is BCD, one triangle. So total two triangles are there. Compulsory we need to solve both the triangles, then only we will get a proper answer. Here BC is not given, so I am taking it as some constant x. Now first I am going to solve this ABC triangle. If we observe this ABC triangle clearly, we have here 30 degrees only. This is not in this part. This is completely another triangle, so completely forget about this line and 60 degrees. Now this is only triangle we have. That is here AB line 1, BC line and this AC line. Exactly. Now this is only triangle we have, which I shaded more. Now if we observe this angle 30 degrees, opposite is building height and adjacent is x. So tan opposite adjacent will get. So tan 30 is equals to opposite h divided by adjacent x. Tan 30 1 by root 3 is equals to h by x. If we cross multiply x into 1, x is equals to h into root 3, h root 3. Now I will take the second triangle. That second triangle is nothing but this BCD triangle. So if we observe the BCD triangle, we will get clear idea that angle is 60 degrees. So for this angle, the opposite is tower and adjacent is x. So again tan only. So tan 60 is equals to opposite is tower. Tower height is 30 meters divided by adjacent x. tan 60 root 3 is equals to 30 by x. Take x this side and bring root 3 this side. So we will get x is equals to 30 by root 3. So we don't want any denominator in the, we don't want any irrational number in the denominator. So multiply and divide by root 3. So we will get x is equals to 30 into root 3. 30 times root 3 divided by root 3 into root 3. 3. 3 ones are 3 tens are. So x value is 10 times root 3. That is, all the measurements are in meters. So this is also meter. Then what exactly is asking? Find the height of the building. So h we need to get. X is equals to h root 3 is there. So now we want h value. So take root 3 that side. We will get x by root 3. X is nothing but 10 root 3. Again divided by root 3 is nothing but h. Root 3 cancel. So height of the building is 10 meters. Okay, now by this question, applications of trigonometry completed. Now let's move to the next topic, that is probability. Very interesting as well as easy topic. So the first concept we need to know in the probability is playing cards. Complete information about the playing cards. If we are perfect in the details of playing cards, easily we can get 4 marks without any hard work. So total we have 52 playing cards in the deck. So the total 52 cards together is called as a deck. So in the deck we have 52 playing cards. Those 52 cards are divided into 4 sets. One set is clubs and one set is spades, one set is hearts and one set is diamonds. Total 52 cards are divided into 4 sets named as clubs, spades, hearts and diamonds. Each set consists of 13 cards. Each set consists of 13 cards. Then every set consists of A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, J, Q, K. Every set consists of these 13 cards. Clubs, these 13 cards will be there. Spades, these 13 cards will be there. Hearts, these 13 cards will be there. Diamonds, these 13 cards will be there. So in every set, these are the 13 cards. In this JQK cards will contain a face of a person. So that's why JQK are called as face cards. JQK are called as face cards. Next, clubs and spades both are in black color. Hearts and diamonds both are in red color. Hearts and diamonds are in red color. Clubs and spades both are in black color. So it means 13 plus 13 total 26 cards are black color cards. 13 plus 13 26 cards are red color cards. So total 52 cards are there. Those 52 are divided into 4 sets. Each set contains 13 cards. Those are A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, J, Q, K. In the 13 cards, J, Q, K are called as face cards. Clubs and spades both are black color. Hearts and diamonds both are in red color. Okay, now let's move to the next concept in this. Okay, the next concept in this is tossing a coin. So, if we toss a single coin, what are the possible outcomes we will get? Those are very easy. One tail, one head. It means it may be tail, it may be head. Next, in case if we toss two coins, on the first coin tail, second coin head. First coin head, second coin tail. First coin, second coin, both are head. First coin, second coin, both are tails. Four possibilities are there when two coins are tossed. So to write like this, it is little difficult. Because if you want to write for three coins, so many will come. Again for 4 coins, 5 coins, if you want to write like that, it is very difficult. So that's why we have a one tree. First write tail and head. Then for tail make 2 arrows and write again tail head. Again for head also make 2 arrows and again write it as tail head. Again for this T 2 arrows tail head. Again for this H 2 arrows tail head. For T 2 arrows tail head. For head 2 arrows tail head. Now this is for 1 coin. This is for 2 coins. This is for 3 coins. Still if you want more, again make 2 arrows and write TH 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 continuous like that. Now if we observe it, what are the possible outcomes if only 1 coin is tossed? Clearly we can see only 1 coin is tossed, that is tail or head. What if 2 coins are tossed? Check this, 2 coins. Tail, 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 head, head, tail, head, head. So 4 possibilities what we wrote here. Then what if 3 coins are tossed? Go in particular 1 arrow only first. Tail, tail, tail. Tail, tail, head. Next, tail, head, tail. Tail, head, head. Head, tail, tail. Head, tail, head. Head, head, tail. Head, head, head. So these are how we need to write the possible outcomes when we throw or when we toss a coin. Now let us solve some problems based on the playing cards concept. Find the probability of getting a king of red color. Already we know clearly we have only 4 kings. 1 king is from spade, 1 king is from club, 1 king is from diamond, and 1 king is from hearts. So we have only 4 kings. 1 king from heart and 1 king from diamonds. 1 king from clubs. 1 king from spade. Then we want red color king only. So already we know hearts and diamonds both are red color. So heart as well as diamonds both are in red color. It means we have 2 red color kings, king and king. 2 red color kings are there. So 2 divided by total how many cards are there? 52 cards. 2 ones are 2, 26 are. So answer is 1 by 26. Next, let us check the next question. What is the probability of getting a face card? Already we know the 3 cards, those are J, Q, K. J, Q, K are called as face cards. So J, Q, K are there in the clubs set. J, Q, K are there in the spades set. J, Q, K are there in the hearts set, as well as J, Q, K are there in the diamonds set. In hearts set, J, Q, K is there. In clubs set, J, Q, K. In spades set, J, Q, K. In diamonds set also J, Q, K. So total how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It means total 12 face cards are there, divided by how many total cards are there? 52. Let us do cancellation of this. 2 6 are 12, 2 26 are 52. 2 3s are 6, 2 13s are 26. So the probability of getting a face card is 3 by 13. Next, red color face card. Very easy. Hearts and diamonds both are red color. So in hearts JQK is there, in diamond JQK is there. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 red color face cards. So red color face cards are required, so those are 6 in number, divided by total cards are 52. 2 3s are 226. So the probability of getting a red face card is 3 by 26. Next question. What is the probability of jack of heart? In hearts, only one jack will be there, so only that is 1. So jack of hearts is 1 divided by total 52. 1 by 52. Next, what is the probability of getting a spade? Already we know 13 spades are there. So number of spades are 13 divided by total number 52. 13 ones are 13 fours are. So the probability of getting a spade is 1 by 4. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Okay, the next question is based on coin tossing. Find the probability to get at least one head, at least two heads, at most two heads. So in this coin type of questions, you need to be very perfect with these two words. One is at least and one is at most. So for example, let us take one example with 2 and let us try. At least 2 heads. What is the meaning of at least 2 heads? At least means minimum. Minimum 2 heads. Head, head. Otherwise head, head, head. Otherwise head, 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 head. Otherwise head, 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 100,000 times, lakh times, crore times also. But minimum 2 heads should be there. That is the meaning of at least. Next, at most means maximum 2 only. Maximum 2 heads means 2 heads or 1 head or 0 head. So this is the meaning of at least and at most. Now let's move to the question. Find the probability to get at least one head when 2 coins are tossed. 2 coins are tossed. What are the probabilities we have? Tail, head, head, tail, 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 head, head. Then he is asking about at least one head. It means one head or 2 heads or 3 heads or 4 heads or whatever it may be. In this, one head is there. In this, one head is there. In this, 2 heads are there. But in this case, one head also not there, so we should not take that. So 1 2 3, three favorable outcomes divided by total how many possibilities, 1 2 3 4, so 3 by 4. Next, find the probability to get at least two heads when three coins are tossed. So first let us write all the possible outcomes when three coins are tossed. Those are tail, 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 head, tail, head, tail, tail, head, 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 tail, tail, head, tail, head, 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 tail, head, head, head. So these are the 8 possible outcomes if we throw 3 coins. Then what is the question? At least 2 heads. In this 2 heads are there. In this 2 heads are there. In this 2 heads are there. In this also 2 heads are there, because at least they are asking, right? So at least 2 heads means 2 heads, 3 heads, 4 heads, 5 heads, 100 heads, 1000 heads, whatever it may be. So possibilities are 1 2 3 4. So number of favorable outcomes are 4 divided by total outcomes 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So total outcomes are 8. If we do cancellation, 4 ones are 4 twos are. So answer is 1 by 2. Next question. At most 2 heads, maximum 2 heads only. It means 0 head, 1 head, 2 head. That's it. Let us check now. Here 0 head, okay. Here 1 head, okay. Here 1 head, okay. Here 2 heads, okay. Here 1 head, okay. 2 heads, okay. 2 heads, okay. Here 3 heads. No, we should not take it. So how many outcomes are there which are favorable to us? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 7 favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So total outcomes are 8. So the answer is 7 by 8. Next, in the same chapter, the next concept is based on the dice or die. A die is rolled once, rolling, throwing. Both the words are same according to this chapter only. A die is rolled once, then find the probability of getting a prime number. So the die will be always having 6 faces. So the numbers written on those faces are 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now first question, if you observe, what is the probability of getting a prime number? Out of these 6 numbers, which are the prime numbers? 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number. So 2, 3 and 5 are the prime numbers. It means those are favorable outcomes. So how many are there like that? 1, 2, 3. So it means 3 favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total outcomes are 6. 3 ones are 3 twos are. So answer is 1 by 2. Now next move to the second question. A number lying between 2 and 6. So the numbers we have on the dice is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So he is asking about the numbers which lies between 2 and 6. So these three numbers are the numbers which lies between 2 and 6. So number of favorable outcomes 1 2 3, 3 favorable outcomes divided by total number of numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6. So total 6 numbers. 3 ones are 3 twos are. So the answer is 1 by 2. It means the probability of getting a number which lies between 2 and 6 is 1 by 2. Next, third question. what is the probability of getting an odd number? So we have 6 numbers on the dice, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now let us select the odd numbers. 1 is an odd number, 3 is an odd number, 5 is an odd number. So possible outcomes are 1 2 3. Favorable outcomes are 3 divided by total outcomes are 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 3 ones are 3 twos are. So this is 1 by 2. That is probability of getting an odd number when a die is rolled once or thrown once. Now by this question we completed the probability chapter also. Now the last chapter we are moving towards, that is statistics. Okay, in the statistics the important topics we need to cover is mean, then median and mode. So first let us discuss the mean by all the three methods. Those are direct method, assumed mean method and step deviation method. So first let us solve this problem by direct method. In the question itself they will give class intervals as well as frequencies. That question as it is you need to write in the column wise. Next, class intervals, frequency are written. So this is F or Fi, both are same anyway. Now for solving the direct method 4 columns are required. First column is there already, second column is already there, so third column we need to make and one more column, fourth column. So total in the direct method we are needed to make 4 columns. The third column is, that is class mark, that is represented by xi. So class mark is nothing but the average of the class interval. If we take this particular first row, average of 0 and 2, that is 0 plus 2 by 2. 0 plus 2, 2 by 2, 2 ones are 2, so 2 by 2 is 1. So here the class mark is 1. Next here 2 plus 4 by 2, 6 by 2, that is 3. So the class mark is 3. Next 4 plus 6 by 2, that is 10 by 2, which is equals to 5. So the class mark is 5. 1 3 5, next will come 7, next will come 9, then 11, then 13. Now the last column, that is fourth column, is Fi xi. It is nothing but product of these two columns. 1 ones are 1, 2 3s are 6, 1 5s are 5, 5 7s are 35, 6 9s are 54, 2 11s are 22, 3 13s are 39. Now we need to add all these, that is summation of Fi xi. Summation is also said as sigma. Sigma Fi xi. The same way we need to add all these frequencies also, that is sigma Fi. Now let us add ones. 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 5 9, 9 plus 6 15, 15 plus 2 17, 17 plus 3 20. So sigma Fi is 20. Next sigma Fi xi. 9, 10, 11, 15, 20, 25, 26 plus 6, 32. So this will come 2 here. 3, 4, 5, 10, 13 plus 3 plus 3, 16, 162. So we need to find the mean of that data now. So mean by the direct method formula is x bar is equals to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. Here x bar is nothing but mean. Sigma fi xi is given as 162 divided by sigma fi, that is 20. If we do cancellation of this, we will get 8.1. This is by direct method. After finishing this direct method, let us move to the assumed mean method. Okay, now let us move to the assumed mean method. Again, this assumed mean method also I am going to solve on the same question. It means same class interval and same frequency. So let us write that now. Class intervals, first column, second column frequencies. First column 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 14. Those are the class intervals. And frequency is also given as 1, 2, 1, 5, 6, 2, 3. Next, in this assumed main method, 5 columns are required. Here, first column class intervals already they will give in the question. Second column, that is frequency, already they will give in the question. The third column is xi, nothing but class marks. We are doing the same question, so whatever the class marks we wrote here, the same will be repeated in the next one also. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Next, the fourth column is di. Di is equals to xi minus a, is nothing but from this third column, that is class marks column, you pick any number. Actually, in the textbooks, otherwise some teachers will say that we need to take from the middlemost number. That is not correct. You can take any number from anywhere or from the total class marks column. So always you prefer to take from the beginning, because if you take the first number itself as the assumed number, you won't get any negative numbers in the next column. So I am taking the first number itself as the assumed mean number. Now di is nothing but from every number of this column, we need to remove the assumed number. 1 minus 1, 0. 3 minus 1, 2. 5 minus 1, 4. 7 minus 1, 6. 9 minus 1, 8. 11 minus 1, 10. 13 minus 1, 12. Now this is the di column. After finishing this di column, one more column is there, that is fi di. Fi di is nothing but these two product. Let us check once. 1 into 0, 0. 2 2s are 4. 1 4s are 4. 5 6s are 30. 6 8s are 48. 2 10s are 20. 3 12s are 36. So again here also same. Total frequency we need to add this fi. 3 plus 2, 5 plus 6, 11, 16, 17, 18, 20. So sigma fi is equals to 20. The same way last column fi di also we need to add, that is sigma fi di is equals to 6, 14, 18, 22. 6 plus 8, 14, 14 plus 8, 22. So 22 means 2 here and 2 upon that bar carrying. So 2 plus 3, 5 plus 2, 7. plus 4 11 plus 3 14, so 142. Sigma fi di is equals to 142. Now what is the formula for assumed mean method? Assumed mean method formula is a plus sigma fi di divided by sigma fi. A is nothing but the number which we assume, that is 1, plus sigma fi di, addition of this total last column, that is 142, divided by 20. This 1 I am writing as it is, so 1 plus, if we check this 142 by 20 I am cancelling. 2 7s are 14, 2 1s are 2, 2 10s are, so we remains with 71 by 10. 1 plus 71 by 10, that is nothing but 7.1. 1 plus 7.1, that is 8.1. So the mean of the given data by assumed method also 8.1 only. Now let us move to the next method, that is step deviation method. Let us solve the step deviation method. Again the first two columns are same. Those are class interval and frequencies. The class intervals are from 0 to 2, 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 14. Then frequencies are given as 1 to 15, 6 to 3. So now two columns already they will only give in the question itself. So the third column is xi, that is class marks. So in the previous problem also we did the class marks of the given data. Those are 1 3 5 7 9 11 13. Now let us write the same as it is. 1 3 5 7 9 11 13. After finishing this xi, this next column is di. Di is equals to xi minus a. Already this also we did in the previous method. That is, I am assuming the first number itself as a. So from every number we need to remove that a. 1 minus 1 0, 3 minus 1 2, 5 minus 1 4, 7 minus 1 6, 9 minus 1 8, 11 minus 1 10, 13 minus 1 12. Next, after finishing this di, we need to find the ui. This ui is nothing but this fourth column xi minus a divided by some constant h. This some constant h we need to find out now. Means observe this fourth column, all the numbers. These all the numbers will come in one table, that is 2 table. Every number will come in 2 table. So that h is nothing but 2 here. In every problem that h value will change based on the fourth column. In case if the fourth column is like this, if the fourth column we have numbers like this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now these all the numbers will come in 10 table. So in that particular case the h value is 10. Okay, now these all numbers will come in 2 tables. So that's why I am taking as h as 2. 0 by 2 0, 2 by 2 1, 4 by 2 2, 6 by 2 3, 8 by 2 4, 10 by 2 5, 12 by 2 6. Now the last column is nothing but product of second column and the last column, that is fiui. Fiui. 1 zeros are 0, 2 ones are 2, 1 twos are 2, 5 threes are 15, 6 fours are 24, 2 fives are 10, 3 6 are 18. Again same now summation. Fi second column, add all the numbers sigma fi, already we know that is 20. Now this last column we need to add, that is sigma fi ui is equals to. So the answer is 71. Now the formula for this step deviation method is A plus sigma fi ui divided by sigma fi into h. What is the A value we took here? That is 1 plus sigma fi ui, we got it as 71, divided by sigma fi, that is 20, into h value we took it as 2. So 2 ones are 2 tens are, so we remains with 1 plus 71 by 10. 1 plus 71 by 10 is nothing but 7.1. So 1 plus 7.1, 8.1. So if you observe clearly in the direct method also, our answer is 8.1 only. In the assumed mean method also 8.1 only. Step deviation method also 8.1 only. So any method you do, always the mean will be same as it is. Now the mean is completed. Now let us move to the median. Median. The first thing we need to check is median formula. Median formula is L plus n by 2 minus CF by F into H. L plus n by 2 minus CF by F into H. So here clearly we know CF is there. So if you observe the formula clearly, here we have CF, that is cumulative frequency. So our first duty in the median is finding the cumulative frequencies. Okay, let us find out the cumulative frequency now. Already the class intervals and frequencies will be given in the question itself. Now we need to find out the cumulative frequencies. Cumulative frequencies is very easy. Write the first number as it is 1. Then keep on adding. 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 6, 15, 15 plus 2, 17, 17 plus 3, 20. Now check the last number which we got in the cumulative frequency, that is 20. That is n. N is equals to 20. N by 2 we need to find out, that n by 2 is equals to 20 by 2. That 20 by 2 is nothing but 10. So now check this n by 2 value clearly, that is 10. Now from the cumulative frequencies we need to check the number which is more than 10, that is 15. Now observe this row completely. So in that 15, which is more than 10, that is 15. So if you observe that row completely, in this class interval 8 to 10, this 8 will become the lower boundary. L is equals to 8. And cumulative frequency will be above that number, that is 9. And frequency will be in the same row, that is 6. And height is difference of any class interval, that is 6 minus 4, 8 minus 6, 14 minus 12, that is 2. Now let us substitute this all in the formula. L plus n by 2 minus CF by F into H. L is 8 plus n by 2 10 minus cumulative frequency 9 into, sorry, by frequency 6 into height 2. We will get 8 plus 10 minus 9. 1 by 6 into 2. 2 ones are 2 threes are. So 8 plus 1 by 3. 3 eights are 24. 24 plus 1, 25 by 3. So the median of the given data is 25 by 3. The median is very easy. Write the cumulative frequencies first and check the last number in the cumulative frequencies. That will be n. And for that n, find n by 2. Something you will got 10. Now check which is a little more. Compulsory it should be more only. More than 10. That is 15 here. So that 15 row you check clearly. Above 15 that will become cumulative frequency. In the same row that will become frequency. In the same row if you observe the class intervals, the lower boundary is 8. Substitute in the formula and solve the remaining. Okay, now let's move to the last concept as well as last question in the statistics as well as in the total paper 2, that is finding the mode of the given data. So first let us check the formula of mode, that is L plus F1 minus F0 whole divided by 2 into F1 minus F0 minus F2 into H. Now what are these F1, F0, something what all? Let us check once. The name itself indicates mode, most frequently occurring data. So just check which is the biggest number in the frequency. The biggest number in the frequency is 6. So observe this now clearly. Where we have the biggest frequency, that is said to be F1. Which is the frequency above that F1 is said to be F0. Which is after that F1 is said to be F2. So we got F1, F0, F2. Where we are checking that F1, that lower boundary will be L. Next, any row class interval subtraction if you do, you will get the H. Now L is 8 plus F1 is 6 minus F0 is 5 divided by 2 into F1 is 6 minus F0 5 minus F2 2 into H. Any class interval you take 0 to 2. Subtraction if you do 2. 4 minus 2 2. 8 minus 6 2. 12 minus 10 2. 14 minus 12 2. So height is 2. 8 plus 6 minus 5 1 by 2 6 are 12 minus 5 minus 2 minus 7 into 2. 8 plus 1 by 12 minus 7 5 into 2. Now 8 plus 1 into 2, 2 by 5. If we do multiplication here, 5 8s are 40 plus 2, 42 by 5. So if you do division method, you will get the answer in decimal also. So the mode of the given data is 42 by 5. Till now, if you didn't subscribe my channel, subscribe for more videos. Thank you.